Hello and good day everyone. Today we are from Group Exterminator would like to present a group assignment entitled Invasive Alien Plant in Malaysia, a non-restrictive revision of academic work. These are our team members' name. Our group consists 11 members. These are the content that will be present.
For the abstract, I will start with the introduction to invasive alien species. Invasive alien species are organisms introduced to ecosystem where they are not native, either intentionally or unintentionally. Invasive alien species can cause significant ecological, economic, and social damage, representing a major threat to biodiversity. Malaysia faces serious challenges from invasive alien species, particularly invasive alien plants. Invasive alien plants threaten the ecological integrity of biodiversity-rich ecosystem, impacting local flora and fauna. Invasive alien species like Mimosa pigra and Parthenium hysterophorus compete for habitat space with native species. This competition leads to reduced biodiversity and disrupts ecosystem processes. The introduction of these species can alter the structure and function of local ecosystems. Invasive alien plants adversely affect agriculture and water systems by reduced agricultural productivity due to competition for resources, increased management costs for farmers dealing with invasive species, and economic losses have been substantial, affecting food security and local economies. The presence of invasive alien plants complicates urban planning efforts by increasing the needs for management intervention, also affecting land use and resource allocation in urban areas. There is a notable lapse in the management of invasive alien plants in Malaysia, such as insufficient regulation and public awareness regarding invasive alien species, and existing measurement may not be fully implemented or enforced. Improve management by enhanced quarantine measures to strengthen regulations to prevent the introduction of invasive alien species, early warning system by implement monitoring system for early detection of invasive species, integrated control methods such as utilize mechanical, chemical, and biological control strategies, and community involvement to engage local communities in awareness programs and management efforts. Effective management of invasive alien plants must be multifaceted and adaptive. Reducing the impacts of invasive alien plants is crucial for preserving biodiversity and ensuring socio-economic well-being in Malaysia. Collaboration among government, communities, and stakeholders is essential for successful invasive alien plants management.
Good day. I'll be explaining briefly about the concept of invasive alien species (IAS). IAS are non-native organisms which introduced to a new environment where they further establish, spread, and cause harm to the ecosystem, biodiversity, or economies. They are major concern globally. And then Malaysia, a country which is known for its rich biodiversity, is increasingly affected by IAS. Throughout this presentation, our group will be focusing only on one category, which is the invasive alien plants (IAPs), which are a non-native plant species which introduced to the new environments. These plants quickly establish themselves and spread, disrupting the natural balance. A few examples of famous IAPs which include in Malaysia is Achronia crassipes, which also known as water hyacinth. They are often used for decoration. Mimosa pigra, which also known as elephant thorn, which negatively impact the agriculture sector, and lastly Acacia magnum, which also known as broadleaf acacia. They are widely used in commercial activities. These plants exemplify on how IAPs can infiltrate various sectors in Malaysia, including the decoration, agriculture, and commerce sector, which causing significant harm.
Continue the characteristic of invasive alien plants. Okay, they have four characteristics. The first one is the rapid reproduction and dispersal. Invasive alien plants reproduce quickly, producing large number of seeds, dispersed widely, and spread across different landscapes. Number two, introduced through the human activity. Invasive alien plants will introduce without their natural predators and thus spread unchecked. Number three, aggressive than the local species. Invasive alien plants tend to grow faster and more aggressively than the native species to get the sunlight, water, space, and other requirements to their grow. The number four of characteristic is adaptability. In a variety of the ecological environments due to its abrupt adaptability and increased invasive ability.
I'll be discussing on why this issue is alarming. First, they threaten the ecosystem and biodiversity by displacing the native flora and fauna, altering the plant-pollinator interactions, and changing the overall composition of the ecosystem. This disruption can have cascading effects on the environmental stability. Second, IAPs have severe economic impacts, especially in sectors like agriculture and fisheries. For instance, the spread of species such as Salvina molesta has caused considerable damage to fisheries, leading to significant financial loss. Third, the aggressive natures of IAPs make them a formidable threat. They outcompete with native species for essential resources such as sunlight, water, and nutrients, which result in habitat alterations and a decline in biodiversity. Fourth, IAPs negatively affect the local water system by reducing the water quality and altering the natural water flow, which can disrupt the ecosystem reliant on these resources. Fifth, they pose challenges in urban areas. The presence of this plant increases the public health risk, complicates with the urban planning and spatial design, and disrupt the recreational places that are vital for community well-being. Finally, globalization has pushed up the spread of IAPs. Increased species movement across borders, combined with the legislative challenges, underscore the need for coordinated efforts to address this issue effectively.
Hello, now I will continue the aim and objective of this thesis. So the first is to investigate the pattern of the invasive alien plant species (IPS) in Malaysia. So as we know that invasive alien plant species can impact biodiversity and ecosystem in Malaysia. So we should know what are the effects and how they harm our ecosystem. So the second one is to study the effect ecological and economical of IPS in Malaysia, such as the biodiversity loss, ecosystem alteration, economical loss in agriculture, and etc. The last one is to improve the strategies to control and manage the IAPS Malaysia, and we should learn the ways to prevent the IAPS and do some research and development about these IAPS.
So now I will continue on the background and literature review. Invasive plant species are non-native plants that spread aggressively, outcompeting local vegetation and disrupting ecosystem, often causing harm to biodiversity, agriculture, or infrastructure. These species typically thrive in new environments due to a lack of natural predators or competitors, leading to imbalance in the ecosystem. Invasive plant species often possesses traits such as rapid reproductive rates, vigorous growth, and a high ability to adapt to novel conditions which enable them to outcompete native species and dominate the ecosystem. In Malaysia, researchers have confirmed the presence of 64 out of 138 globally recognized invasive alien species, including 17 plant species such as water hyacinth and broadleaf acacia, which threaten local ecosystem by outcompeting native flora and altering habitats.
Next, how does invasive alien plant being introduced into Malaysia? They were first introduced into Malaysia with affirmative purpose. First, water hyacinth. It was introduced to Malaysia with ornamental purpose due to their beautiful purple flower. And for the second one, broadleaf acacia. It was introduced into Malaysia for the reforestation and pulp industry purpose. And for the last example, ipil. It was introduced into Malaysia with the livestock fodder purpose. And after that, I will continue with the colonization process of invasive alien plant. So the process can be separated into four, which are introduction, establishment, spread, and also naturalization. For the introduction, the invasive alien plant can be naturally, as example, through the wind or water current to enter our nation, and also through human activities such as vehicles. And for the establishment, it occurs when invasive alien plant is suitable to grow in new environment. And for the spread, it occurs when invasive alien plants start to reproduce in a huge amount rapidly. And for the last colonization process, which is naturalization, it occurs when invasive alien plants start to grow in the natural habitat.
Next, there are 4 steps to how to deal with invasive alien plant. First, prevention, strict border and trade control. Second, early detection, monitoring and risk assessment. Third, eradication, removal of invasive alien species. And last, control, chemical or biological control and habitat management. National Action Plan was established with 3 goals, which are intensify quarantine inspection at nation entry points, conduct risk assessment on invasive alien plant, and enhance public awareness according to the negative impacts of invasive alien plant to the native ecosystem. There are 2 acts on invasive alien plant in Malaysia. First, Plant Quarantine Act 1976. It is to manage, prevent, and exterminate plant diseases, noxious plants, and agriculture pests in order to increase collaboration in the management of pest movement in global trade. Second, Plant Quarantine Regulation of 1981. It is to prescribe standard requirements which should be fulfilled during the importation of plant, growing media, plant product, plant pest, carrier of plant pest, and beneficial organism before entering Malaysia.
Now we have the material and method, which is the methodology. Okay, for first we have research focus. We have review studies published before 2024 on invasive alien plants (IAP) in Malaysia using Google Scholar and Science Direct. We also included studies with relevant titles or keyword. For key resources, National Action Plan on IAS 2021 until 2025 and related regulation. International reference, Convention on Biological Diversity. For the case studies, we have Parthenium hysteroporus, causes agricultural loss and health issues. Second, we have Mimosa pigra, outcompetes native plants by forming dense thickets. Okay, now we proceed to findings. For the findings, it has significant impacts on ecosystem, economy, and biodiversity. It also has weaknesses in public awareness, monitoring, and enforcement. We recommend to increase the public awareness on IAP threats and improve monitoring system for early detection. Also, strengthen enforcement mechanism for management.
I will continue the presentation with the discussion. So the discussion is about the impact of invasive alien plants in Malaysia. There are 5 impacts of invasive alien species in Malaysia. So the first one is habitat alteration. So invasive alien plants like Mimosa pigra disrupt the habitats by blocking the sunlight and competing for the resources, that leading to this decreased biodiversity. Then, invasive alien plants also can change the vegetation structure that can give effects to the animal populations and also can disrupt the pollinator relationship. The second one is it can impact the urban, where invasive alien plants in urban area can reduce the ecological health and also the aesthetic value of the parks and also the green spaces. They are compete with the native plants, complicating the maintenance of the urban ecosystem that can support the biodiversity and also can improve the air quality. The third one is ecological impact, which are invasive alien plants can lead to localized decline in species diversity and also can degrade the water quality. Dense population can create the mats that limit the aquatic biodiversity and also the ecosystem functioning. So the example include Artenatera phylloceroids and also Ecornia crassips, which it can deplete the dissolved oxygen in aquatic habitat. Next, the impact of invasive alien plants in Malaysia is about the water quality issues. So the invasive alien plants will create the thick mats that can reduce the light for submerged plants that lead to oxygen depletion. They increase the turbidity and block the water flow, which can cause the siltation and lowering the dissolved oxygen levels. Decomposing biomass can alter the water quality, which can affect the human health and also the water quality. So the last one is health and agriculture concern. So Parthenium hysteroporus can cause the allergies for the human, animals, and also the exacerbate soil erosion, which can impact the agriculture. So invasive alien plants can disrupt the local water system, which can affect the community's reliance on fresh water for agriculture and sanitation.
Okay, for the strategy for managing or control invasive alien plant IAPS in Malaysia, firstly is quarantine and early detection, strengthening inspection at entry point and enforcing stricter import regulation to prevent harmful species like Acacia for entering the country. Second is surveillance and survey, regular monitoring of area to detect IAPS early, enabling prompt action before they spread and cause harm. Okay, thirdly is control method, using method like physical removal, burning or target herbicide application to control and manage the spread of invasive plants such as Mimosa pigra and Parthenium hysteroporus.
Lastly, I would like to conclude that invasive alien plant pose significant threat to Malaysia's biodiversity, agriculture, and ecosystem. Even though there is effort by National Action Plan and also Plant Quarantine Act, there is a gap in implementation and enforcement which remain a challenge. And the effective management of IAP require prevention and early detection and integrated control method, including mechanical, chemical, and biological approach applied with caution. Lastly, for sustainable outcome, Malaysia must adopt a comprehensive strategy that aligns with the global conservation goals and national biodiversity regulation. References. That's all from us. Thank you.